Save Martha!
Hi everybody, TCG player Kevin here. I know most of my audience is probably playing Master Duel, but you can use this deck list maybe when, you know, Martha eventually comes to Master Duel. Anyways, I'd like to preface that this is for my locals. There might be some strange decisions you might see in the deck, right? But for the most part, I think it's pretty alright. It's also going to be kind of weird where I'll break down the essential core cards that I think you absolutely need to play, and then some flex spots where maybe you have different preferences, you can play those cards instead. So let's get to the deck profile right now. Okie dokie, so of course we start with 3 Martha. Martha, save Martha. If you don't know what Martha does, she is so good. Basically, if you control no monsters or only exceed monsters, you can special summon it, and then it special summons another card called Ellis. Other than that, pretty good, right? So the card you're gonna summon from Martha's effect is Ellis, right? Ellis is a free special summon if you control another exosister, so it's kind of like an extender. Then you play, of course, 3 Sophia. Sophia is basically another draw, right? If you control another exosister. And then I guess you gain effects for having corresponding exosisters. For example, Sophia, if you have Irene, which is kind of like the bad one, you gain 800 life points, and basically every exosister does the same thing. Stella is another kind of extender, or sort of extender, right? During the main phase, you can special summon one exosister from your hand to the field, right? And then if you control Ellis, which is the blonde one, kind of looks like Raye. I'm sorry, Raye. I know, Raye. I'm so sorry, Raye. These are just my friends. I'm not, you know, cheating you or anything. But anyways, you gain 800 life points, right? And of course, you only play one Irene because she's kind of the worst one, right? She's kind of a mulligan where if you summon her, you can basically put another exosister card from, you know, to the bottom of your deck and then draw another card. Hopefully you get something good, right? And those are basically the exosisters themselves. And then of course for hand traps, you always gotta play handies, but at the same time TCG land, kind of weird format where hand traps either you go all in or don't even bother. But I think you have to play 3 Ash. I'm sorry, my shiny ones are in, you know, Sky Striker, but that's okay. You gotta play 3 Ash. Everyone knows what Ash does. And of course you can play D Shifter, which surprisingly did not get hit at all. I don't know what Konami's thinking, right? But D Shifter basically says no to basically Terra Limit, and I think almost every other deck, right? So those are my hand traps: 3 Ash, 3 Shifter. I think that's pretty good, right? So those are the monsters, right? And then we go into spells. So of course you play 3 Exosister packs. Packs is like Rhoda on crack. You pay 800 life points. You add an Exosister card from your deck to your hand, except itself, of course. And then if you had a monster by this effect and you control the corresponding one on your field or in the graveyard, you can special summon it, right? So a lot of synergy if you have, like, you know, a bunch of names in your graveyard. Sometimes it comes up, right? And of course the other Exosister card is Carpe Diem. Neither player can target Exosister cards you control with, right? Or monsters special summon in the graveyard. A lot of reading. Basically what you do with this card is you just call Nibiru or Ash or any other card. It's kind of like Prohibition, but for Exosister, right? That's all you basically do with this card. That's all you really need to know. The rest of it is kind of like, you know, extra fluff, whatever. Who cares? This is just no to Nibiru. That's all you need to know. Armament is like a dodger, but it's kind of like on your opponent's turn. So in theory, you can have an Exosister monster, right? And then special summon a Michaelis or whatever you pronounce it as, and then you can banish stuff on your opponent's turn, right? Pretty good. And then for the rest of the, you know, other cards, you need to play one called by. It says no to a lot of handies. There's a reason why there's a limited. Honestly, should be banned in my opinion, because it says no to hand traps, and hand traps are how you fix Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And then for the other 3 spells, Dank Ruler no more, right? Everything's monster effect. It says no to sprites. People are still playing sprites. It says no to tournaments. Says no to basically every deck in the format at the moment, except maybe Sky Striker. And I guess if you play I guess Magical Musketeers, apparently that's coming back. I don't know, we'll see. So those are your spells, right, that I feel are essential to the core. And for traps, you play double of Vadis, right, which is basically the ones that special summon from deck. Gives you board presence for your opponent's turn. You chain it if you know your opponent's activating during something on their turn in the graveyard, and so it'll start a new chain link, and then you can exceed and all that fun stuff, right? And then to Returnia. Returnia is could be I think basically a banish 4 on your opponent's turn if you play it right. I'll show you that later. And anyways, the last 3 traps that I feel like are essential is Imperm. Imperm is probably the best hand trap outside of Ash and, well, Maxi. Because, you know, your opponent can't negate that. It's really good, right? That's all you need to know. Those I feel like they're essential cards. The rest, the last 5 cards, you can honestly play whatever you want, but I choose to be a big boy baller here and YOLO Desires because I feel Pot of Prosperity. I mean, you can play that, or you know, again, you can play Desires or Pot of Prosperity. Probably Prosperity is better. As you can see, I do have it. I just, you know, I like to draw the +1 or whatever, you know, draw 2 cards. I feel like that's broken. And for the most part, you play like 3 of every card in your deck, where Desires is, you know, amazing. And plus, like, you know, Prosperity, it's alright. It's alright. Either or is fine, right? I can, obviously, if you side into a lot of board breaking cards, then obviously play Prosperity, but I mean, either or is fine, I feel like, in my opinion. And then last flex spot, I play 3 Gozen, because, you know, all your monsters are basically all light. It kind of hits, I guess, Sword Soul, if that's still a thing. It kind of hits Spry, Terrormist, not really. They're all kind of water, but, you know, goes to match pretty good. Alright, so those are the 5 flex spots. These spots can be whatever you want, doesn't matter. If you're cheap or you're poor, then you can play or cheap, poor like me, you can play Prosperity, or not Prosperity, play Desires, right? But if you have ball and money, then I guess play Prosperity. But you know, cardboard costs money. All right, and then we'll go on extra deck real quick. Of course, you play 3 Michaelis. That's like your bread and butter card. Searches stuff, right? Searches spell or trap, banishes stuff. Pretty good, pretty good. And then of course you play double Magnifica. Magnifica is your boss monster that can attack twice and also can banish cards. If your opponent literally does anything, you can banish stuff, right? So ideally your end board would be like this monster and like a Vadis or a Eternia, and you banish like 4 cards on your opponent. That's pretty good. I'll show you it later. And then the other exosisters, so Caspitel it searches a monster. So if you have like say like 2 exosister cards, you can then search for Martha and then pop off with some more, right? And then your 1-of, so Astral Field, whatever, that thing returns, it's also, I guess, Abyss Dweller, kind of, right? And then return stuff, right? And then Jabreen, that's the one where basically negates, you know, effect monsters, whatever. And then for the rest of the thing, I think those are the core cards you absolutely need to play. Sort of, well, kind of. I think there's one more card where I feel like you absolutely need to play. The only card I would consider absolute need to play is probably Double Zeus, because it clears a lot of boards, right? It clears things, big boy boss monster, your opponent has to get rid of it, otherwise you wipe their entire field, right? So other than that, the rest of this is just flex spots. I'll just go them quickly what I have on offhand. So Lina, because you know they're all light, I guess, kind of. Baguska, it's kind of like skill drain on legs, whatever. Got good Cowboy, because remember in real life Yu-Gi-Oh there's time rules and then you burn people. And then last thing, Phoenix and Unicorn. Again, these all cards can be whatever you want. Does not matter. Be whatever you wish to be, right? Those are the cards. And then I'll quickly go over side deck, because side decking is semi-important in Yu-Gi-Oh! Very, very mucho importante. Is literally a third of the game, besides actually playing the game. But for the most part, for now, you know, I got 3 different rarity judgment. Different rarity judgment, because I'm weird and kind of poor, right? I know. How'd you get 1 secret? I just randomly got it out of a booster pack or something like that, right? There's that. And you play Gamma, or I'm playing Gamma, because it says no to a lot of things, right? And then finally you play, or I play Ghost Mourner, Moonlight Chili, right? More time roll shenanigans, somewhat. And then Cyclones, and then 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. That's basically the deck, right? Again, side, you do whatever you want. Does not matter. Probably play DD Crow. They're in my Sky Striker deck, and I don't have extra copies because they probably went up to like $8. Real life Yu-Gi-Oh is expensive, gang. Honestly, hot take. But if you have a choice between Master Duel or TCG, absolutely play Master Duel. And again, probably wondering, where's Mystic Mine, Kevin? Where's Mystic Mine? This is for locals, right? I'm just memeing around. I don't think playing Mystic Mine will make me a lot of friends at locals, and also like, you know, I think everyone's semi-prepared for Mystic Mine. I think if you've been following me long enough, I play like Yu-Gi-Oh kind of like low-key, either super aggressive or like, you know, very dumb sometimes, as you can see from going second Sky Striker. So I feel like sitting on Mine is not really my playstyle. Plus I feel like other decks, if you're gonna play Mine, might as well just play it on like a dedicated deck as your win condition, right? Because I mean, that's whatever. That's just my opinion. And now we'll get into some test hands and combo stuff. All right, right now. Alright, we're back. Sorry for the really bad camera quality. My OBS is being dumb. But anyways, so I'm going to show you pile shuffling. Because I don't know about you guys, but for some reason, I will always draw doubles even if I pile shuffle. So we're going to do that real quick. I guess I'll semi-talk about the ban list or TCG land if you guys care. It's insane they did not ban Mystic Mine. I cannot believe that didn't happen. I guess people are saying that Mystic Mine is now the max C of TCG land. But, you know, again, I would rather deal with max C because it doesn't tell you no than Mystic Mine, which basically, you know, says you can't play the game. Max C technically doesn't end your turn, you know? It does nothing against Wineries, it does nothing against, I guess, Outlets, right? It kind of doesn't do anything against Sky Tracker, but, you know, Mystic Mine hits everything because, you know, everybody's obviously going to have a monster. Unless you play some weird thing like Ojama. Mystic Mine burn, right? But even then, I don't know. It's kind of dumb. Whatever, TCG's weird. Anyways, so we're going to shuffle a couple of times. I'll show you guys how to shuffle, ASMR, right? Again. I'm gonna guarantee I draw doubles of something. I don't know, maybe it's just my incredible drawing skills or shuffle. You know, I'm very lucky like Kaiba. So here we go. I'm gonna give my opponent pretend to cut. Alright. Here we go. My opponent's gonna cut it. Always tell your opponent to cut it. Alright, we're gonna draw 5 cards. It's totally not edited whatsoever. So we draw Imperm, we draw Stella, we draw Martha. Hey, save Martha. Dank Ruler no more. And another goes a match. Wow, I didn't draw doubles. Okay, I can't believe that happened. That must be a streamer luck or whatever you say here, right? So what do? I want to pause it here or whatever. You pause it. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do, right? Okay, so first thing I would probably do is obviously you Martha. Martha first, right? You're going to search for Ellis, sorry. We have Ellis. So you're going to search for Ellis, right? So summon Ellis. I know Monster Zone's Kevin, but you know, I'm trying to make do with whatever space I have. So many ants around here. You guys have ants? I have so many ants. I wish I could show it, but like, you guys might be super scared or something. So anyway, shuffle, cut, right? So now we're gonna make the Exceed into. Now your options are either to make Michaelis or you can make the one Asphalt, whatever, to search for another extender, right? Because we have Stella, and remember Stella, you can special summon an Exosister monster from your hand. So remember that for the most part, I think in this format, most people don't play handies, so you can kind of be a greedy Gary if you want to, right? So you know what? We're going to be a greedy Gary. We'll play that line, right? So we're going to Exceed into a Caspitel, right? Chat, gang, Raye gang, sorry. Okay, so now you detach a Exosister Raye, right? Send that to your graveyard, whatever. We're going to pin that to graveyard. And then we're going to search for, I guess at this point, your targets can be another, probably Sophia. Sophia's probably the best option in my opinion because then you can draw a card, right? So we'll do that, right? Remember that you gain 800 life points, blah blah blah. Kind of, not really. So I mean, maybe it's a big misplay, right? You could have just waited, but you guys get it. I mean, the simulator is going to take care of everything anyway, so that's fine, right? So we do that, and now we can normal summon our Stella. Remember, effect special summon a monster from your Exosister monster from your hand. Remember, we had that. So do that. Since this is not technically Ellis, you don't get another 800 life points, and because this one needs Irene, you don't get 800. But anyway, that's fine. You can use Sophia's effect to draw a card. Let's see what we get. Another Sophia. See, I did draw doubles, gang. I did draw doubles. Look at me, Dad. Here we go. Now we Exceed into our Michaelis, whatever. Now we can detach either one. I think probably better is Stella, because that means, I mean, the matching pair is Stella and Ellis, right? So you always want to fill up your graveyard with as many different names as you can. So with Michaelis, you can search for either a Returnia, right? Or you search for a Valus. At this point, we can make a Magnifica, which means we can probably, I would personally search for Eternia and Banish 4, because based on their hand, right? Instead of Vadis, because it looks like we basically have everything set up. So for this demonstration, we're going to search for Eternia, right? So now we have Eternia, Sophia, Dark Ruler, Imperm, and it goes a match. So I think that's a pretty good turn one, I feel like. Now obviously you set these cards, right, or whatever, then you make the Exceed into here we go. We're gonna make it into a, where are you? Magnifica, right? Magnifica, if you don't know what she does, she's very good. She banishes like 4 cards, potentially can banish 4 cards, right? So once per turn, you can attach 1 material, once per turn quick effect, actually, you can detach one material, banish one card your opponent controls, right? That's a quick effect. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, when you turn one Exceed monster you own attached to this, and then start to summon an Exceed monster from deck using that card as you control. So that means you're going to summon another one of these Michaela, right? So that's another free banish, because remember, you only get a free banish during the turn. That's a quick effect. For some reason, I guess you got to make this, you know, bad. And then obviously you activate Return, you have to banish 2 more cards. So that's banish basically 4 cards on your opponent's turn. Pretty good, right? All right, we'll do one more. I'll do one more test hand, yeah? So I did draw doubles. That's hilarious. All right, chat, gang. There we go. That's how you play Exorcister Raye, right? So we'll power shuffle Uno Mas one more time, right? Meanwhile, we'll do a little ASMR chat. How are you guys? Hope everyone's doing well. We'll be back on YouTube. In terms of Sky Striker stuff, don't worry, I got stuff cooking. Kind of, not really. I don't know. It's kind of hard, right? Without hack, without Hulk. But at the same time, I mean, Sky Strikers were never really, I feel like, an OTK deck. I mean, look at Eldritch, right? Eldritch is an OTK deck. They don't need Aqua Fabrics. They just set on a bunch of floodgates. Sky Striker can set on a bunch of floodgates too. Why not? Who knows? All right. They probably shouldn't though, because that's not how I play personally. But that's fine. I'm just rambling. Yu-Gi-Oh! ASMR, shuffling cards. It's also nice that now CCG lane allows you to double sleeve, right? Because for the longest time, people didn't allow you to double sleeve. Because, you know, my cheetahs. My cheetah. Why are you cheating at a children's card game? Anyway, so we're going to do that. We do Uno Mas. We're going to cut. Cut. Always cut. Blah, 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 blah. I declare to go first. So we're going to draw Ellis, Sophia, Pot of Desires, YOLO, Eternia, Called by A. No to Max C, right? No, I'm kidding. All right, here we go. We'll pause or whatever you got to do. What would you do on this turn, right? We'll also, I guess, demonstrate what happens if you get hand trapped, potentially, right? But it doesn't matter because, I mean, we have Call by. But, you know, play on your own level, right? So what do? Should probably summon Sophia. All right, Sophia. And by effect, you can activate Ellis' effect because we have another Exosister. Special summon her. All right, we'll draw a card from Sophia's effect. Let's draw one. We do another. See, I always get doubles. Don't worry. So at this point, you know, you can do the same standard combo, right? You can do that. Special summon your Caspatel, right? Caspatel, of course. Caspatel. You will detach probably a Sophia because it looks like we have, you know, Ellis in hand, so we can search for a the Martha, ¿dónde está? Martha, alright, Martha effect, special summon herself because we have an Exceed. Martha effect to summon Ellis, our third and final Ellis, which kind of low-key scares us because that means that our other Martha might be potentially dead, but that's okay. We'll do that. Summon your good old Michaelis. Use your effect to detach Ellis Engrave, right? And now you can search for, we already have Returning, so you can search for Vadis. Another hot spicy thing you could potentially do is search for packs, so you can have, or even armament or whatever, but I think feeling the trap is probably the better option in terms of priority, right? So we do that. We get Nib, I guess. Alright, but I don't think people are main decking Nibiru at the moment. But if that was the case, then obviously I'll probably search for the one that says no to Nibiru first. So now we do the same thing, right? Do that. There you go. Right. So now you make Magnifica, set all your cards, right? We're gonna YOLO Desires. Remember, good players, you banish 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then draw 2. Desires and another Martha. That sucks, feels bad, man. And then you look, right? That's how I feel good players play, right? They banish first and then don't even bother looking because it's gonna make you mad, as you can see. So D-shifter, blah blah blah, double ash. All right. We banish on one of our rings, kind of sucks, but that's your turn 1. I think that's pretty good, right? So now you have Martha in hand. I guess you want to be a YOLO Desires again, and then we have this. Now turn 1. It's pretty good, huh? All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's a little longer than it should be, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed looking at Exosister. I guess Nun Raye. I guess I'll call the deck Nun Raye, right? Raye, who's a nun instead of a, I guess, a war criminal. Anyway, see you around, gang. Fuck Eldritch. This This is my outro song for free YouTube monies. Give me some likes and sub for me, please.